Hey, did you hear? We did a thing. We're now on Patreon. Come and check us out. Because that's just what needs to happen. We're going to do a chit chat today here on RamGoatAstrology because we can't think because it's the Scorpio full moon and it's not supposed to be scheduled. It's just supposed to be feeling. Right?
Yeah. My gift in this life, one of my gifts in this life is that I'm an incredible sleeper. Like I sleep great. I have so many things in the 12th house, so at least I could get some good sleep,
That is a gift, isn't it?
Like that's what I got. But last night I mean this morning I woke up feeling like I didn't sleep a wink.
Oh, I hate that.
And yeah, right now the moon is full in Scorpio, so I'm just waiting to see how this full moon is. Like so far is great. I'm just very, very sleepy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm yeah. Let's see this one entails. I'm just excited, like intrigued to see
what
what
comes
will
out.
happen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday was Mother's Day here in the U.S. Do you guys do Mother's Day? Is that a
Right.
thing over there?
Yes, we do. We do. But like in 2 weeks.
Oh, it's close but different. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we had Mother's Day here yesterday, and I ended up doing a reel. It was more of a personal reel. I don't normally show like emotional stuff because I get that 6th house Scorpio. I keep that shit private. But I for some reason felt encouraged to just kind of hit record yesterday during an emotional purge. I was really upset. I stupidly, now I should know better, of course, and I don't like shooting on myself, but I stupidly had expectations. And these
Of Mother's
expectations,
Day.
yes, these expectations were ridiculous. I was assuming and expecting my children would behave in a different way other than normal.
They would be changed personalities on Mother's Day. You were hoping.
This is exactly what was happening. I expected them to realize that the calendar said it's my special day, treat me better. And
Yeah.
they didn't. They didn't at all. They were teenagers and they were toddlers, all 5 of them. And they were argumentative and they were begrudged and whatever words you want to add, they just were. That's what they were.
Yeah.
And especially my Scorpio sun sign daughter, who's 13. And we had some challenges there. And she was the one that particularly stung me the most. She didn't do anything in particular, but her energetics of just like not giving a shit. And if she did, it didn't come across that way. And that stung. Like she's got a good Aries moon and a Scorpio sun, and that combo can be
Yeah.
ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Stingy.
Ouch.
And like, I mean, you're an astrologer, so you are very aware of your family's like
Yeah.
the astrological DNA, like what your family, where they come from, what needs they have, what egos they might have battles with,
Yep.
how they communicate, how they function, how they handle information, all of that. You know it. But when I mean, you can't always be just so super accepting because this day probably woke up so many things
Yep.
within you. So then you're like, well, maybe I'm choosing today not to be.
Yeah.
Just like, yes, I know she's super stingy and la la la. So it's hard, like even knowing everyone where they come from.
Yep.
But what happened?
So
Did you come
that's
to a
exactly it.
solution
Yeah, I'm going
or?
to take what you said because knowing it and living it are 2
Yeah.
different things, right? I can know how someone is or know how I am programmed. And living the experience of that energy is that's the human thing. That's the human struggle right there. So
Yeah.
I was feeling sad and frustrated. And Philip and I were talking in the bedroom, and I was my energetics were down. I knew my cycle was about to start. It was already a few days late, and I was like, "Oh, I bet she's coming with the moon. I know she's going to.
Yeah.
I can feel it." So I was expecting that. So I knew my energetics were down. I also last week, for the first time ever, started getting up and attending a 5 a.m. business call 5 days in
Yeah.
a row. That is unheard of. Y'all, like that is not a thing that Laura Lee has ever done in the 43 years of existence. Never do I willingly and excitedly wake up before the sun and then stay awake
Yeah.
purposefully. It's never, no. So this new solar return chart and Capricorn progressed moon I'm in is definitely I'm feeling the
Oh
shift.
yeah, that Capricorn progress moon. Because
Yeah.
I'm so Capricorn. I love that stuff. I love getting up early in the morning to work.
God
But
no.
yeah,
Ah, no.
yeah,
I'm Aries
it's so
and
efficient.
no.
Efficient.
No.
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
Well, here's the thing. I used to be a second shifter person, so I would stay up late and work into the evening or into the wee hours of the morning. Now with babies and toddlers and teens, that I can't because the teenagers are awake just as long as me now. And if I do that,
yeah.
so I've got to find a time when everybody's asleep. And guess what? It's at
Exactly.
5 a.m.
Yeah. What you
So
gonna do?
this past week, I had gotten up at 4:50 a.m. every day. And then on Saturday, I slept in until 6, which is still crazy that I was like, I got to get up at 6. Who is this lady? What is happening to me? What is going on? I feel like I've been
Hmm.
possessed by a Capricorn. It's so weird. It's so strange.
I love that for you.
It's like Philip and I have switched roles because now he's sleeping in
Yeah.
and I'm getting up. And I looked at him like,
Yeah.
is this tripping you out? He's like, a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
I'm happy for this because it also feels like you get to know me a little bit better. Like to,
Right?
everything that comes with the Capricorn, like that and many other things,
Like I
you
just
know?
want to work all the time. I just want to work.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
unbelievable. I wake up
Yeah.
and I think about work and then I go to bed and I think about and the kids are like, stop and play. I was like, I can't, I gotta work. I was like, oh, this might be
Yeah.
a problem.
Because you're always just thinking, is this thing like play? Is that going to benefit me in the
Yes.
where I'm going and where I want to go?
Yes.
No. Okay, I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna instead
Yes.
prepare this thing. Yeah. That's
Yes.
how us with a lot of Capricorn, that's how we work. And, we really have to work on play. Oh,
It
work on play.
it's
Yeah.
really interesting. This is so new for me. Not only did I experience the Capricorn progressed moon at the same week as my birthday, but then my solar return chart, everything's at that sixth house. I think there's like 8 planets in the sixth house, and the first one is Saturn. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
be disciplined, have a routine. Let's get scheduled. Come on. And then of course within that routine, there's flexibility because he's still in Pisces. So I get up at 5, I do the business call till 5:30, and then there's flexibility. What do I want to do?
Yeah.
Do I want to stand on the porch in my house coat and just look at the birds? What do I want to do? Do I want to do yoga? Do I want to read? Right? So it's very
Yeah.
interesting to have the schedule, but then have the openness. So I've been more tired this week. And so I knew my energies were going down and down and down. And then Mother's Day came. And again, stupid expectations. You guys, expectations are the thief of happiness. I'm telling you, we have to let them go. We do. Because
Yes. Yes. No,
it,
it's so true.
I could have had a happier day. Should I have just viewed it as a regular day? Right? Like,
But that is so hard. I mean, I'm not a mother, so I can't speak for Mother's Day, but for my birthday, it's the same thing. I'm always telling myself, no, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And then on the actual day, I'm like crying because no one like woke me
because it's
up
a big
with
deal.
cake. Yeah, and surprised me and like, blew me away with all of this amazingness all
Right.
day long.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How? Why are we like that?
Because we set these magical expectations. So then I was
Yeah.
crying to Philip in the bedroom and I was like, stupid fucking holidays. I hate
Yeah.
holidays. I really do. I know that's a weird stance, but I just do not like holidays because of this. They set an
Yeah.
expectation. I don't like the expectation that comes with Christmas or comes with Easter, comes with,
Yeah.
oh. And if you
But this is
don't
a
go to
lot of
the
people.
thing,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you break their expectations of you.
Uh,
If
I
you don't go
think
to the
that's
event or the whatever, right?
yeah, because there's so many people who actually are ha like people really really hate a lot of people, not all, but hate Christmas, hate their birthdays, but and it's like a sad day
Yeah.
because there is like that. I mean, either it's that whole big deal like the expectations, or it's reminding them of expectations that have been and that were not handled well.
Yep.
And like, because if you're at home and you have parents who have these super high expectations, they just like exude stress.
Yes.
And these holidays become, yeah, like big just
It
stressors,
becomes a
stress
thing. It
factors.
it becomes
Yeah.
a thing where it didn't need to be a thing, but society says it's a thing, and the calendar says it's a thing, and all the commercials on TV say it's a thing. So it's
Yeah.
got to be a thing. And heaven forbid you don't want to be part of the thing or participate in the thing the way your family says you should. It's expectations. And when you put expectations on an Aries sun sign in the 11th house and a Mercury in the 11th house and a Venus in Aquarius, you're going to be let down. Like
Yeah.
don't put expectations on me, because that means that's something that I have to do. And now that you say I have to do it, or you think I have to do it, now I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's interesting that like now I'm starting to think about holidays
Yeah,
and whatever this is because I'm like, oh man, yeah, holidays are so Saturnian because holidays equal
they
to
do.
traditions, but
Yeah.
a holiday should be so like Jupiter
Jupiter,
because
right?
yeah, Jupiter is like big and jolly, and that is actually like what a holiday is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, you have fun, you expand, you eat a lot of good food. Like
Yeah.
you just. Oh, hang on. Maybe actually holidays are not so Jupiter when I come to think about it. I
I
mean,
think
it's become. I
I
think
know,
that they
let's
way more Saturnian.
they're very Saturnian. I've never cared for, pretty much, ask my husband, any holiday.
Mm,
Not ever really. We barely celebrate our anniversary. It's not that I don't
yeah,
celebrate. It's just that I don't do the like traditional
yeah,
energy.
that's it. Because yeah, when you think about it, Saturn is all about like yeah, making it feel constricted.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, and that's what you were talking about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's so constricted, whatever I'm supposed to feel. And that makes you have all of these expectations
Mm-hmm.
and that push and pull and the tension. And
Yep.
that, like, oh, I don't know, I'm supposed to do this. Like, it's so Saturn.
Yeah. I
So
think
it's like every,
holidays feel
yeah,
Capricorny and Cancer energy. It's
yeah,
that routine and discipline and tradition, and then food.
yeah, for sure. Family. Yeah.
Food and family.
Family and food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then yesterday I had I we you know the kids, it wasn't all the kids and it wasn't all the time. It wasn't just like any one major thing. It was like a lot of little things on top of each other where I would ask them to do something or ask one of them to do something, and it was a like direct no in my face. And that's been happening a lot lately, and it's talk about trigger to me. Whoa. If you want to push the big red button, just look at my face and say no directly to me after I ask you kindly to do something or whatever. Like, can
Mm.
we negotiate? Can we like meet? Can we anything other than no? You got any other word in there? Thanks so much. So that happened quite a bit with quite a few of the kids at various spots. And then there just wasn't a lot of like giving energy at all. There was a lot of selfish me, what do I want energy up for all of them, all five of them. Now, do I expect the 2-year-old to be giving? No. No. But
Mm.
I do have an expectation of teenagers to understand that maybe today is a day where we shut our mouth and not argue with our mom. Maybe, right? Or maybe if she asks us to do something, we just say, cool. And we do it even if we don't want to, right? Like I had these expectations. Stupid. That was stupid.
Yeah.
That was my fault. I should not have thought they would randomly do their chores without argument. That's not the kids that I made. So I was crying, and it was Gertie that was the one that got me to the point of like releasing it. Of course, that Scorpio stinger and then the burn with the Aries moon, and that went. So I'm crying, and then my husband went and talked to the kids. He was like, "You guys, come on." I don't know what he said, but he went and talked to him, and specifically to her. She came down to my bedroom and I was crying. I just recorded myself. I never record myself crying. I just recorded a couple seconds of myself like blowing my nose.
Mm.
And I came in and she gave me a hug And with her, it's energetically like what I would imagine hugging a blowfish would feel like spiky at first, but then
Mm.
like once the spikes are like into you, like once you hug her, then like you're okay. But it's like entering her energy field feels like spikes.
Mm.
So hugging her is not the most comfortable at first. Now, this is her and me. It might not be her with everybody, but this is her and me and our energetics. And it's always been like this since birth. I understand it. But when I need a hug, I have to push through this energetic field of repulsion. It's really, really weird.
Mm.
And I do. And so we push through, and she's hugging me and she's apologizing. And I said, Gertie, we're in a relationship. We need to be able to relate. We're not,
Yeah.
I'm trying to relate to you, and there's no give back whatsoever. And she was very understanding. And then I said something. I'm crying on her shoulder, and she's taller than me now, so it's really weird to cry on her shoulder because she's bigger than me. And I said, Gertie, I'm just so frustrated with you. We got to work through this. This is our karma. This is our crap here. You and I, 12th house moons, girlfriend. We got to heal this. Come
Yeah.
on. And she says,
Yeah.
I know. And she was talking back. And then she says, I said, oh, you're such a pain in my butt. And at that time, she cracked her neck, and it was right next to me when she cracked her neck. And it sounded or it felt really good. And I was like, oh, I bet that felt good. And she said, yeah. And we just kind of sit there, and I'm kind of just chuckling a little bit to myself about how that neck crack like shifted the energy. And then suddenly I said, oh, you're such a pain in my butt. And she goes, kind of like cactus, like wiping your butt with a cactus.
Yeah.
she, she, she says, kind of like wiping your butt with a cactus. And I was like, Gertie, you are totally cactus toilet paper. And then we just started laughing and laughing and laughing. And we were laugh crying. And oh my God. So then I recorded that really fast because we were laugh crying, and it was just hilarious. But the energetics of expectation
Yeah.
is really the thing that I came back to. Like, what was the issue for the day? Like, why did I get myself worked up? Like, obviously I needed to cry, and it was fine. And her and I needed to have that, and it was fine.
Mm.
And I'm so glad that we can laugh, cry together, and we can like pull the energy, and change it, and we can work through it. And yay us, and we're doing the work. And now I'm always going to think of her as cactus toilet paper because that's just freaking funny.
Yeah.
And then we walked and Gwen came in just a little while later. I was like, come here, Gwen. She's my 11-year-old. And I was like, come here. We need a female reset. So we're hugging each other. And Gertie told her what happened. And I told her, I said, yeah, I'm going to call Gertie cactus toilet paper. And Gwen goes, mm-hmm. Like, that's it. No response. Just, mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, yeah. She got it.
She just goes, yep.
Yeah. Mm. Mm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Mhm.
Sisters are crazy. So I just thought that was a interesting dynamic with Mother's Day, and even just like astrology, being able, like, while I was hugging her and crying, I was looking at our
Mm.
charts in my head.
Yeah.
Just like another situation where astrology helps me to be able to help us in the situation, living it, and go, Gertie,
Yeah.
we get spicy and spiky and hot, and we don't want to come together, and we need to, because I got a bunch of air with my moon sign. She's a bunch of fire with her moon signs. And sometimes that gets real volatile. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So in order to come together, we have to both agree to come together, and, almost like a
Yeah.
gentle blow, and a gentle blow on that fire. So you don't like,
Yeah.
it's a freaking lot, man. That was one kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's only one of them.
Uh, but how, like, would there be a way, because these days are very like stigmatized
Uh-huh.
for like it's like, oh, you tell yourself that it's no big deal and you're totally cool whatever happens, but
Right.
obviously we're
No,
not, we're
no.
human beings. But how can we, because in any other situation in life, I will look at my chart and I will go, ah, this is why I react like this because of so also like in, if you could go back in time to like 2 days before Mother's Day and look at your chart and you'd be like, oh, I'm feeling like it's probably not gonna matter and it's just any other day. But looking at my chart, how am I likely to react
Right.
Mother's Day morning?
Right.
And what is good for me to do?
Right.
before that to like sort of be ahead of time and think something out.
Well, I would have looked at my chart. I'm looking at it right now. I would have looked at my chart and went, "Girl, you need some freaking sleep."
Yeah.
If this was a
Yeah.
client, that'd be the first thing I would have said. If this was my client's chart and I was looking at it and I was looking at the full moon and where it's coming up in your chart, opposite
And will you
Chiron
tell
in the
us
12th
why?
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my,
Uh-huh.
my Chiron in the 12th
Because of
house
12th house.
in Taurus is opposite this full moon. I have Ceres in the 6th house in Scorpio near this full moon. I'm nourishment, nurturing me. I have to go deep and take care of myself. And opposite that issue, I'm so glad when you said I have that gift of sleep. I was like, oh, bless
Mm.
you. I do
I
not.
know, like I almost don't want to tell people because I feel bad for like usually when I'll speak to someone, they're like, yeah, I always have trouble sleeping, and they're like, what about you? I'm like, well, I'm actually great at it, you know. I sort of don't want to say, but it's my gift. What can I do?
I love that. Well, I'm actually
Well,
great at it.
yeah.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, I would have looked at this and going, okay, especially with all that solar return energy in the 6th house of like diligence and service and all this, but also
Mm,
being aware of your health needs, right? You got to be aware of your
mm,
health needs. And my health needs, number one right now, are um, you should sleep more, honey.
mm,
So if I was talking to me as my own client, that's the first thing I would have said to her. But
mm.
she didn't get to set up that appointment. So,
No, because I guess that like uh when we're about to enter our own birthday or Mother's Day or Christmas or whatever, what happens in our body is that we actually get low-key stressed out, I think most of us.
I think so.
We get like a little, there's triggers that are awakened, even if it's not the same kind of trigger as if you would go on the street and, something would happen like in the physical form. This is just like this goes deeper, you
Yeah.
know, and you low-key stress yourself out, so you're more prone to be way more reactive. So I guess just looking at your chart and saying like, okay, if my chart is my like if my being is like an immune system, like my immune system is sort of going down now.
Mm-hmm.
If you compare your immune system to like being stressed out,
Yep.
how can I use my chart as a like medically or whatever, like how can I see my symptoms in my chart and try
Yes.
and take better care of myself? Like how can I use all of these different things
Mm-hmm.
in my chart to see the symptoms ahead of time?
Yes. Great question. Yes, and
Yeah. No, no, what I'm saying is I just think
yeah.
that it's like if you look at your chart,
Yep.
what I would do is I would look at my chart and I would go, okay, what is the low vibrational forms of some of my positions? What's the low vibe of my moon in 12th house Capricorn? Well, that means I'm probably not going to tell anyone how I'm feeling, and I'm not going to understand how I'm feeling
Right.
at all. And I'm going to build up a like being resentful inside and not even knowing why.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will never tell anyone about it. And that's terrible. That's not what I should be doing. Like just looking at your chart and seeing how does my chart function when it's a little bit, when it's a little bit under the weather
Right. Right.
sort of thing, you know?
Yes. And mine was getting, it was like I knew energetically all week that the clouds were coming in and that the weather was going
Yeah.
to turn, right? So astrologically for me, like I could feel it, I could sense it. And I don't want to say I didn't take care of myself, but I certainly needed, in general, just more sleep. And that is the luxury that I do not have at this moment with the way my life is. So
Yeah.
what else can I do? Can I take a cat nap? Well, I've never really liked naps before, but also I've never really gotten up at 4:50 in the morning before. So maybe I like naps now. I don't know.
Yeah.
maybe I should try them and see, right? Maybe they're like the greatest thing that I've never tried. Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe an hour nap from 1 to 2 is like everything that I've always been looking for. Right? How do you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
How do I
No, you don't
know?
know.
So I think it's
You won't
interesting because
know.
that 12th house Chiron for me is real activated during this season, this Taurus season. And then with my solar return chart just shifting, and then both of my boys, my oldest and youngest children, have birthdays right after me. But both of my boys have their birthdays. So that's not just a return for me, but then each of my kids' birthdays, it's like a new cycle for me too. Because when you have a baby, you birth yourself into a new person. And so there's the before you had that baby, and then there's the after you had that baby. So when that baby has a solar return, I feel like I get like a mini solar return shift then too. It's weird. So I get to do this 6 times a year, but particularly it's 3 times between March 29th and April 25th. So it's a lot. And now I'm starting to realize that now this is only obviously 2 years fresh because Felix is just 2, but I think from here on out, I need to be really mindful of the month of April and the shifts that are going to take place really big energetically, and then be prepared for new things to emerge come May, which is exactly what happened, because it takes a little bit to adjust to the new assignment, right? And to get rolling into it. So the energetics of my chart this year are all in the Pisces area. I have to sleep.
Yeah.
And
they're
not.
Oh, when do you go to bed? Like now, when you've been getting up at 5, when do you go to bed?
So I've been getting up at 4:50, and so weirdly, I set my alarm for 4:50, and I'm waking up at 4:45 before my alarm. What's up with that? What is like who in my head is running the clock? What's going on? Why won't you give me the extra 5 minutes? Like, you can't give me 5 minutes? Like, what's
happening? Those 5 minutes.
Right? Like, why are you doing this to me? I have an alarm. I'll get up. It's okay. I don't need more than 10 minutes to get out of bed and turn on a Zoom. It's okay. So it's really, I'm going to bed probably about 10 or 11.
That's really late, Laura.
That's when all of the
if you get up at 5, oh, you need to go to bed before them. Let them be awake. They're teenagers.
Yeah, no, I'm talking all of the children.
Oh.
Yeah. Last night, 2 little ones were still awake while I was trying to fall asleep. They were like rolling around and kicking me while I was trying to sleep. Yeah.
Oh.
And we have a real small house, so it's not like there's a lot of places to go. So
gotcha. Okay. I think that you might have to start working on those naps.
Yes, I think it's
if you're gonna get sleep. Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
I think a nap is something that's needs to be implemented for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like maybe because this is your solar return, so it's gonna be this whole year for you. Like maybe schedule once a month something where you can be alone at home, or you can go leave the house for like 24 hours and sleep.
And just be, yeah.
And like sleep. You're not gonna sleep obviously
No,
for
I could
24
totally
hours.
go to like my parents' house in my old room and just
Yeah,
I could totally
go
there
to bed
and
just stay in bed the whole like for 24 hours.
Oh my God.
Maybe you're not sleeping, but you can just rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a sleep retreat once a month.
Ooh. That sounds lovely. Maybe I'll schedule it right around my cycle. I like that.
Yeah.
Mama's going to have her red tent month cycle thing.
Yeah.
Leave her alone. Oh, I really like that. That's something new I've never considered before, right? Implementing a new routine, a new thing. Hey, beautiful souls. Laura Lee here with a quick heads up. For a limited time, I'm running my May You Thrive sale. Buy one, get one 50% off of my services. Whether you're diving into astrology, energy work, wellness tools, now is the perfect time to gift it to yourself or someone you love. You can give them that little extra support or for yourself. Visit lauraleelotto.com and let's help you thrive your way. Now back to the show. There's so much newness. I have been doing reading after reading after reading for people that are having to really evaluate what they're doing. New jobs, new positions within their job, new relationships, so many people are either being forced out by situations outside of their control, for example, government workers, or energetically forced out by like unaligned people that they work with, or like every single reading I'm doing, everybody's work and job and career is shifting. If I don't know what is happening, I don't know if it's Saturn and Neptune both going into Aries. I feel like that has something to do with it. feel like that has a
Mm-hmm.
lot to do with it. Actually, Saturn is work. I don't know. It's been
Yeah.
have you noticed anything like that over there? I mean, you just had a little bit of a shift with your position.
I was gonna say I just had a shift at my job too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is a lot of newness all the time. Sure, sure. And I think definitely like you said, Saturn going into Aries, but like also these other big players, even though it's been a while now since Pluto shifted, it's you know,
Yeah, but he's
like
retrograde now. He just went retrograde, so that makes
yeah.
us think different and look at things a little different.
Yeah, and
Do we want to do it that
sometimes
way?
exactly, and some things move slow. Like, for example, with Pluto, that Pluto is extremely influential and very, very powerful, and has to do with like transformation and transmutation for us. So that definitely has to do with um, what we value in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And Pluto shifting sign, like showing up in your chart now in a new way. This has had massive shifts inside all of us, but some takes time. Like you start thinking like, oh, hang on, is this really what I want to spend my days with? Like, is this do I stand for this? But it maybe will take 6 months for you to actually, you know,
Yeah.
make the literal shift.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
think all of these big players who has been moving the last couple of 6 months, something like that, there's so much change everywhere. Yeah. And I think it has a lot to do with that.
I do. You know, I
Yeah.
was thinking back about Saturn, and you last time we talked, we'd looked at those dates, and I've been thinking a lot about
Mhm.
those dates since we brought those
Yeah.
up again, and I was like, oh man, I can see it. I can see what I was supposed to learn with Saturn and Aries last time, and what's coming this time, and like where I'm at with my life now, and I can
Yeah.
see the shifts that are taking place and that need to take place, and I'm so respectful of it now, which I think is what Saturn wants us to learn, is to be
Yeah.
respectful of the lessons and the maturity and the time it takes for things to develop. And I feel like I'm
Yeah.
just like, yes, Saturn, yes, I honor you. Reward me, please. I've been doing my work. I've been a good
Reward me,
girl.
please.
I've been a good girl. Please just let me pass, right? Oh, I don't want to get that Saturn cosmic frying pan. I got that. I got that when I was 15. It was horrific. I don't need to do it now in my 40s. So
Mm.
I think the astrology for me is just so fun to continue to unpack, right? Whether I'm doing it with a client or even just right now with this full moon and like,
Mm.
oh, what would I tell a client with this situation, right? It's
Yeah.
just there's never a time where I get bored with it or and that's saying something. Okay, that's like seriously saying something
For
that I don't
you, yes. You're such a fast moving lady. Yes.
it's ridiculously fast. Ooh, what kind of wine you drinking?
I'm drinking some kind of like natural orange wine over
Ooh,
here.
sounds yummy.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually quite good.
That sounds I'd love a glass of wine today. That's what I need. A
Yeah,
glass of wine and a nap.
that sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, what are you most excited about for the shift coming up here with this Aries energy and Aquarius energy, and then Uranus moving into Gemini? Like, what are you most excited about with these big shifts? Like, I know we've talked about a lot of like the big things that
Mhm.
could happen in a negative way, but like, there's all kinds of fun, positive stuff too.
I mean, yeah, we have no idea. The thing is that, because we have been talking a lot about what happened last time Pluto was in Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
What happened last time maybe Saturn was in Aries or Neptune in Aries. And those have been historically times of like revolution. And with revolution comes war of some kind. And that has been the energies. And I don't think that everything needs to be like just because we're having the same positions in the sky doesn't mean that we're going to have the same results.
No,
Hopefully, we as a
I hope
people
not. I
are
hope we
always,
learn.
yeah, emotionally evolving. Although, I mean, not looking at anyone in particular, but I don't have too much trust in everyone. But just hoping that we're all evolving and definitely we're all changing. So it's not going to show up exactly as it has been showing up before. Um, so yeah, it's very interesting. Any kind of thing could happen, but for sure, what's gonna happen is that there's gonna be a lot of movement,
Movement.
like movement because it's fire and air,
Yeah.
and also movement as in like movements of people because it's Pluto in Aquarius. And what are these people gonna fight for? I don't know.
Hopefully the world.
Yes, hopefully the world,
Yeah.
hopefully everyone's well-being, hopefully,
Yeah.
for peace and equality. But
I
it's up to every single person individually to
yeah.
make choices.
I'm curious about how it will show up this time, mainly because we now are so connected with technology.
Yeah,
That's something that our humanity possibly has experienced, right? Like a long, long time ago. And then we lost that. And then now I think we're coming back to that. But I mean, there's clearly civilizations that have been on Earth with advanced technology. I watch a
yeah,
lot of Ancient Aliens. If you ever want to talk about that, oh my God, we could have hours of conversation. I am fascinated with ancient civilizations and ancient cultures
yeah,
that clearly had technology, like of very advanced in laser cutting and all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. So obviously we've had some type of technology at some point in humanity. However, not in our conscious minds, right? Like this is
hmm,
our generations, our memory, our written history does not. So this is new for our civilization is to be able to hop on a Zoom and talk to Sweden at any time, right? To be able to do a reading for this girl from Russia and then get off that and do a reading for this guy from Israel and then get off and do this reading for this girl in Serbia. Like, are you kidding? That was my Saturday last week. Are you kidding me? What? Like, this is insane, right? I can't even comprehend because when I was in high school, this wasn't an option in the school career choice department. We didn't have the option of like, hey, do you want to just hop on a Zoom and do astrology readings with people in Serbia?
mm.
No, that wasn't at my career fair day. They didn't have
Because
that.
yeah, they had no idea that they had no idea that we could even do this.
Exactly. So I'm so curious about how these energies are going to manifest this time, specifically because of the connectivity. And I've
Mm.
seen so much stuff like when TikTok was shut down for a while in our country, a lot of America migrated to this Red Note app, which is kind of like TikTok, but like in Mandarin and for the Chinese. And so a lot of people got on Red Note, and it is like mostly in Mandarin. And I'm on it. I can't quite figure it out because I don't
Hmm.
speak Mandarin, but it's been really interesting in what I've seen on this platform and what I've seen kind of throughout this whole year is people opening up to new cultures, connecting in new ways. And suddenly now a bunch of people from China and a bunch of people from America are connected in new ways. And this Red Note app, specifically because TikTok was shut down, and it's opened a whole dialogue and a
Yeah.
whole, like,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yes,
the
yes,
kind of
yes.
shit that just fascinates me
Yeah.
because we don't have to just hate people just because the newspaper says to, right? Like we don't have to just say, "Oh, the Russians or the Chinese," right? We don't have to actually clump a bunch of billion people together into one group.
Yeah, yeah.
We we can be discerning and we can love everybody and right? Like there's just it's so
Of
different
course.
now with the timing and the connectivity.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
And it's
excited about.
it's yeah, and it's so interesting because I mean, if you go back 30 years in time or even less, and you would say, try and explain what an app is, just what an app is. Uh, and an app, whatever the app is, has a lot, like some apps has huge functionality and makes our lives so much easier. And we had no idea this thing would exist,
No.
but what took us there was our like the constant strive to create something that we as a people want and need and value. And
Yes.
whatever we as customers on the planet, whatever users of different things, we have steered where expansion has been expanding because, I mean, if everyone loves an app for where you can put in your schedule more than an app where you can, I don't know, look at plants,
Hmm.
which app is going to grow? Which
Right.
app is going to have more focus and which app is going to have way many like more functions? So like whatever is happening now with technology going so fast and um and movement is whatever we choose to spend our time and our
Yes.
interest in and
Ener-
our focus on.
Energy goes where attention flows.
Yes, so
Yeah,
globally we can steer where we want to go.
exactly. And I love that because
Yeah.
if we all understand we can align and choose our own algorithm, that's
Yeah.
powerful. You can choose. My mom said something the other day. She's like, I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want to be on social media. I was like, yeah, but you are on social media. You're just using our group chat for social media. You're using our group
Yeah.
thread and sharing all this stuff with us that people share with their friends on social media. And you're like using us as your social media. Okay, it's fine. But I'm just saying this is the stuff people put into social media to be social with the things you like. And she assumes that it's stuff that you're not going to like. And it's like, Mom, you can curate it. You
Uh,
can make it what you want. If you want to see a whole bunch of dogs and dog rescues and all that, then that's the algorithm figures that out real fast. If you want to see a bunch of anti-wrinkle stuff, it'll figure that out. If you want to see spiritual involvement, it'll go. You just have to select and look for it and go for it, and it goes that way. And that's the
mm,
thing I don't think enough people realize is we curate our own algorithm, right?
yeah.
So, did I tell you the other day when I got really into it with my kids, my two oldest, I was jamming to a song. So I've really been listening to a lot of like positive vibes and stuff. And one of them is by a lady called Moonlight Scorpio. Of course, that's her name. Why wouldn't it be Moonlight? Of course, that's who I listen to. And I was singing a song that she sings, and I was singing the lyrics. And one of the lines and that of this particular playlist that I was on said, "I got money, I got wealth, I got whatever." And I was singing that line, and my 16-year-old, because that they're like their own entities. Okay, I don't know if they're human, but
Yeah.
they're kind of like their own creature type humanoid. And he decided that that would be a great time to interject and like slice me off at the knees and be like, no, you don't. Like while I was like jamming and singing, I got money, I got wealth, I got good mental health, right? Like I was jamming. I was in my
Yeah.
vibe. I was vibing. I was raising my vibe. And that's important for me as a really airy person. I have a lot of air
Yeah.
elements. And when I am in a good vibe, you do not test it and cut me down and yank me down to earth for no freaking reason just because you're a 16-year-old earth kid and you just think it's going to be fun. Don't
Mm,
do that. Okay. I will take you out. I will blast you with a cannon fire in your face and you won't see it coming. Oh my God. I got so furious. I was like, you do not. When I am up, I was great. I was in a great mood. Like, why would you do that? Like, I get you're
yeah.
16 and like your brain doesn't function, but like, come on, man, make it function, please. Don't be dumb. So I was a lot meaner than what I just was right now, but it wasn't meanness, but it was intensity. And I went from
Mm,
this really high vibe to instant intensity. And I was like, no, uh-uh. And I got real serious and his face just hit the floor. He'd got a big chunk of humility pie in his mouth and I made him chew it. And I was like, you chew all of that.
yeah.
Like, you do not cut me down when I am manifesting and I am vibing and I am in a good place. It was like to watch this, if this was a sitcom, like their audience would have been laughing. Like this would have been great. But like in reality, neither of us was thinking it was funny, of
A
course.
little tougher. No.
But man, it is so interesting, the vibes and the energetics of things. And I'm working really hard on bringing my energetics up and curating my algorithm and listening to songs that feed it, right? This morning, came across a thing on Instagram, just a reel. And the guy is singing about how broke he is. He's taking a song and he changed the lyrics and it was a popular song. And he's singing about how broke he is. He got so broke, he don't got this. And I'm thinking, That's catchy, but I ain't singing that song. Like, I'm not manifesting that, and I do not want my algorithm going that direction, right?
Mm,
I'm working on the other energetics. I do not need to tell the universe over and over and over, I'm broke,
mm,
I'm broke, I'm broke.
yeah.
That seems like a really bad thing to manifest.
Yes, I mean, even if we're just singing along to something, there is so much resonance from what we say, like the vibrations of our words and what those words, what kind of vibration those words carry with them. It doesn't matter if you mean it or not. Like those words have a meaning, and you
Mm-hmm.
are aware of the meaning. Doesn't
Yes.
matter if you are broken or like that frequency is gonna carry with the energy of that word of being broke.
Absolutely.
So if you surround yourself or you have a language, that's why it's so important how you speak and how you speak to yourself and how you speak to others. Like your son saying, just cutting you off like that and like, no, you don't. Mm,
No thanks, buddy.
yes. So it's just super important. Like we don't want to be delusional, but
Right.
we also don't need to speak in a way that just focuses on like on negativity or um
It
yeah,
stops the flow, right? Everything about, I mean, that's what astrology is frequency. Everything about our life is frequency. Everything. Our brain is programmed with the frequencies of the planets the moment we emerge out of our mother's body. That is
mm,
the basis of astrology. Frequency. So
yeah,
we are programmed with a frequency that we then get to learn how to play, just like an instrument. And you can learn
yeah,
to play it really, really well and be an amazing player of your unique chart, right? Like you can play that really well. Or you can give it half assed, and do it 5 minutes a day, maybe, and not be very good at playing your own chart. And you can live in the lower vibration of not knowing how to play your own instrument, right? It's all frequency, but I think the frequency of our speech and what we listen
mm,
to and the colors we surround ourselves with and the energy of the plants around us or
mm,
the city around us, whatever we're in, is so important, which is why the astrocartography is so helpful too, right? The astro travel map, so
yeah,
helpful to help you get into the vibrational energy of what you're looking for. Are you looking for abundance? Then go to your Jupiter line. You looking for peace and values and harmony? I'm telling you, live on your Venus line. It's amazing. That's where I've been living. It's where I was born. I freaking love it. I don't recommend Uranus. Don't go live on your Uranus line if you can help it.
I live near my Saturn line.
Yep. So
Yeah,
it's the frequency of even the places you live. And the words that we speak and the songs that we sing are huge. And this playlist I have, oh my God, I was singing this morning that I easily find abundance and I love my life. This one is just a song over and over. I love my life. I love my
yeah,
life. I love my life. It's like 3 minutes of just that. That's it. Whole song.
yeah, and you probably feel great after that song is finished.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, I love singing that song. I love my life. Just singing it over and over and over. So
yeah, and like
it's something I
if
don't
you
think a lot of people think about.
yeah, no, maybe not. And it just hit me also now why it's so great sometimes when you're feeling like you have something in your body that just wants to be let out, like you feel like you need to cry,
Mm-hmm.
and then you sing along to really sad songs,
Yep.
and then you just open it up because then you're singing about being sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not really like you're having some kind of sadness, but you're having also maybe an emotional block because you don't know how to get tears out. You need some help, and
Yeah.
then you sing about and then you really tap into the feeling of being so sad because you're singing the words, and then the tears just fly out.
So let me ask you a question on this one. So since we're on
Yeah.
this topic and kind of exploring this, what are your thoughts about people who watch are really interested in murder mysteries or
Mm.
horror and that kind of vibration?
Interesting, because I've always had a hard time. Like, I love mystery, but I've always had a hard time with like gory stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sleep. I stay away from all of that because I think that I think that what people want is the same that they want if they go to like ride the roller coaster. Like
Okay.
they need to have their system sort of like jolted. That's
Okay,
what they're
that makes
wanting.
sense.
And yeah, and I
Like
think
a
that
clear junk, and it releases
yeah,
some
but
type of hormone in them or some type of response.
yeah, but I don't think that that necessarily is healthy because that probably comes from some sort of like they're using that as a system for I think it's people who maybe have felt a lot of fear and maybe they are accustomed to the feeling and they sort of need to have a way to jump back into it with control
Yeah,
because they are the one watching.
yeah, that makes sense. And there's a lot of fear and trauma in this world. And I realized the other day, I think we were talking about this. Earth is an experience of fear. That's really what it
Mm,
is. Like it's an experience of fear and loss and kind of hurt, right? There's a lot of hurt. And we
yeah,
have to find the love and the happiness throughout those experiences. So accepting the fact that there is fear and there is hurt and there is pain and that is the experience, and then finding love and joy within them or through them, from them or off of them, however you want to,
yeah,
give it, is the job. And so we have to find the frequencies that kind of launch us into,
yeah,
I don't know, so interesting. Could talk about this forever.
yeah, yeah. Wow. Speaking of like okay, I'm tying back to something we spoke about like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
But speaking about like looking at your chart and seeing how your chart functions being sort of under the weather, like not when you're maybe feeling your best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing that when I am when I'm tired, and this probably happens to a lot of people, but this really strongly happens for me. I have Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer is a lot of things, but one of the things is that it can be very abstract because it's a water sign.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when I'm tired, like today, I have like such a, it's so hard for me to like form words, like actual words. I am totally in the abstract world. Like
Mm.
it's hard for me to communicate in a way that is not watery, like it not is that is not so super watery, you know what I mean? Like I just become like I just get lost in the waters with my with my
Yeah.
Mercury in Cancer, and it's hard for me to like all day long. I've been saying the wrong words, or I've been saying like words that don't exist because I like mash together two words, and
Yeah.
it's like what? They just don't come out of my brain or my mouth.
Absolutely. I identify with that so much with the Pisces Mercury.
You have a yeah, you have a water Mercury as well, yeah.
I literally will just lose words. I'll start
Yeah,
the sentence and it'll be halfway out my mouth, and then I uh it's uh
gone.
and that for me, as somebody who clearly speaks a lot and all the time, that's a real irritating thing. And guess what happened a lot yesterday and started on Saturday is that like
Mm,
inability to speak. Peter.
yeah.
So I think that's again another good sign of tiredness. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like noticing your symptoms, like what pops up. Like obviously now I am super tired and like just noticing my symptom like, oh wow, I'm having a hard time speaking today. Woo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like memory also, like Mercury is like how your mind works. Mine is super watery today. So just the first thing in the morning when it's happened, I should have been like, in a perfect world, I should have been, I'm not going to work today.
Right.
I'm gonna stay in and sort of just, I don't know, draw intuitive, just do something intuitive and
Mm-hmm.
just free flow, whatever. But yeah, that would be in a perfect world, and that's how I would have done it. And yeah, just something that I thought about.
That's not what happened. Well, I was looking at that too when you were talking about like the low vibration or the if your chart's unwell. Um, Thinking about my Jupiter at 8 degrees Scorpio in the middle of my sixth house.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there, but kind of not totally unaspected, but kind of mostly unaspected. It's got an
Yeah.
in conjunct to my sun sign, and that's about it. So it's just kind of hanging out there. And Jupiter is usually quite lovely until he's not. He's
Yeah.
obnoxious when he's unwell. He's very obnoxious, and obnoxious in a way where it's almost like I don't know how when to stop. Right? Like when
Yeah.
somebody's drinking alcohol and they just keep drinking and
Excessive.
keep
It's
drinking.
excessive.
Exactly. And for me, it's I don't know how to stop being of service.
Mm.
I don't have that like stopping the stop button on me isn't functioning well.
Yeah.
It's sticky.
Oh yeah,
It's a
yeah.
sticky stop button.
It's sticky stuck.
Yeah, and
But
the job is for me to learn to where the boundaries are. But Jupiter's not the
mm.
best with boundaries. I don't know if anyone knows that, but he's
Mhm.
not a strong suit.
Yeah.
I
No.
don't,
And
if you're looking at the planets and you're like, who's the great one with boundaries? He's not in that category.
no. Nah.
So
Yeah. And I just want to say, so just so no one misunderstands us, when we say if that we look at a chart as it would have been unwell, like we don't mean like anyone has an unwell chart. No one has an unwell chart. But like looking at the chart and thinking like if my chart was having a cold,
mm-hmm.
how would it react? And and also maybe then what kind of vitamins does it need?
Right.
How can I regulate?
Yeah.
So
So
that's
if
what
I
we
got
mean.
Jupiter and Scorpio and I need to regulate, I feel like I need to like go crawl in bed under the covers and sleep for like you said for like 24 hours, right? Like have a
Mm,
big recharge or a big
yeah.
reset or a
Yeah.
big transformation. Is that going to happen? We'll see.
It could happen.
It could. Any Hey,
Yeah.
I'm getting up at 4:50. Anything could happen now.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. We'll see. But it is
Cool.
necessary because my Ceres is having a trine with my Mercury, and she's in Scorpio and he's in Pisces. So that trine indicates that I do mentally know when I have to nourish myself better because I will develop migraine. That is the first thing. And I have a
Mm,
slight headache coming on right now as I'm speaking to you. And I know if I do not take care of this, I bet by this evening I will be full migraine status. So it's already speaking to me. I heard it probably about 20 minutes ago. I felt this like tingling, kind of like dull pain starting on the top of my left side of my head, which is where my migraines start. So
so what you're gonna do after we finish this call?
supplements, go get some calcium, magnesium supplements, and a whole bunch of other supplements and water, and eat a good quality meal, and then
Yeah.
probably lay down and rest. I don't have anything
Yeah.
scheduled until this evening, so I think I do need to just
Yeah.
rest.
And right now, like as we're speaking, the full moon is at its peak, the full moon in Scorpio. So, and that's a water.
What's
This
the
is a
degree of it right now?
22.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this just means, I mean, you're not going to hear this on the full moon, everyone listening, but to keep in mind for the next full moon that is in a water sign,
Mm-hmm.
we all should just go to and be like, take a bath.
Yes.
Just be in water and like surrender. A full moon is about surrendering, but also being in water is so even more because you cannot control water.
Mm-mm.
Water takes so many different shapes and forms.
For real. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, if you've not done this, I've started doing this I think when we were in astrology school. So that would have been like 2021, 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started doing this and it was tracking the way the moons affect me. So I just have my like
Hmm.
my regular like work planner and then I don't track like a lot of stuff, but this is something I started doing each month. If the full moon affected me profoundly, I put that down. If I didn't even notice it, I put that down. I noticed that
Yeah.
the air moons don't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Like, not even sort of. I'm like, woo, that's fun. Not even sort of. The fire moons aren't so bad for me. They hit my kids harder. The
Mm.
water moons, specifically Scorpio, usually kick my ass.
Mm.
So in the emotional department, like I know it's almost like I can just plan on needing a full 24 hours of like just cry and reset and adjust
Hmm.
and kind of like today, just be down. And
Yeah.
so it's interesting for like 2.5 years now. I've been tracking this and Just
That
to
is really interesting.
pay
I want to do that
attention.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is because just like you said, not all full moons will feel the same,
Mm-mm.
depending on your chart, depending on how it will be affected, and where in your chart you have a lot of energy
Yeah.
and yeah.
And the earth full moons, I don't even know if I feel them.
Yeah.
What? Earth? What's happening down there? You guys are doing something? Oh, I'm up here. I just
Yep.
don't even feel it's very interesting. But I do notice them because my family members feel them. But
Yeah.
yeah, just to take note of like, oh, that was a powerful one. I felt weepy, or wow, that was a not too bad. I did this ritual, or I did a bunch of cards, or I journaled a lot, or
Yep.
you know, it's just a little bit of something to keep track of. And that's been really
Yeah.
interesting to just watch.
Ah, I like that. A little full, like a full moon calendar habit diary
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I love that for all of us
And it's
listening.
only once a month. So you don't, I mean, if you want to track the new moon too, you can do that too. But
Mm.
just because the full moon is about release, I wanted to watch my releasing. And now maybe this year I start adding the new moon in. Why not?
Yeah, because then you can narrow down, like you start finding out, like, oh, on air moons, that's when I really obviously need to talk to someone because I always end up, that's what I end up doing after trying to not do it for a while. So then you can
Exactly.
just work with it. That's amazing. And because this is a reoccurring thing
Yeah.
and happens often enough, yeah, why not track it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Because it is something that can be incredibly helpful. Incredibly
Yeah,
helpful, especially for
yeah,
if you've got kids or elderly in your life, that you're already feeling the effects of the moon. Now you just get to be aware of it.
true that.
Yeah. Well, it was fun chatting with you
Alrighty.
today
Yeah,
about whatever. I don't even know what we talked about. Everything.
a lot of different things.
All over
A
the
lot of
place.
different things.
These
Yeah,
are my favorite when we just kind of go random.
yeah, me too.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you're sticking with us, we appreciate it and enjoy. We hope you enjoy our little chit chats and insightful conversations here. So thank you so much. If you want to make sure to like and share and subscribe and all that fun stuff, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of RamGoatAstrology. You can support the show by buying us a coffee or a tea. Link in the show notes. Your financial support means the world to us. Join us next time.